believe everything you read, see, or hear on the internet, especially when they're all lies. No proof, just made up lies. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to issue my one and only advisory. If you have a platform and you have content with my name attached to lies, take it down now. And to those that started the rumor, that started the lies and then continued to spread the lies, I dare you not to take it down.
Chris Webber walks into court and shocks everyone. Jackie Christie's secret life comes crashing down. No one saw it coming. Chris Webber walked into the courtroom that day carrying nothing but a manila envelope, yet what he revealed inside it would turn everything upside down. What he shared didn't just leave the room in silence, it shattered an entire family. Jackie Christie, her husband Doug, and their daughter Chantel had come in expecting a legal process, maybe some difficult conversations, but not this. Not Chris. Not the truth he had kept buried for years. Tensions were already high.
Crazy. The enemy wants us to be distracted, man. You gotta put your blinders on. Stay focused, man.
Rumors had been swirling for decades that Chantel might not be Doug's biological daughter. Jackie had always denied them. She was firm, almost aggressive. Doug is Chantel's father. End of story. Any suggestion otherwise was, in her words, insulting and dangerous. But people talked. And the one name that kept coming up, quietly, was Chris Webber. Yes, that Chris Webber, former NBA star, someone who moved in the same Los Angeles social circles as Jackie back in the day. People said there was history between them. Not just rumors, but real sightings, real stories. Still, Jackie always played it cool.
You're not going to defame my name. Of course the lawyers are in action. Of course the lawyers are in motion and are motivated.
She laughed it off. She painted herself as a loyal wife and loving mother with nothing to hide. But behind closed doors, things weren't as clean as she made them seem. Chantel had questions. Not just vague ones, she wanted real answers.
Give her the opportunity to say everything that she's had to say about me to me. Get bold. You had all of these things to say. Oh, she's a hoe, she's messing with his friend, she's doing this, she's doing that. Say it.
And every time she asked about her past, her mom would either shut down or explode with emotion. Doug, usually calm and reserved, always looked uncomfortable when the topic came up. He didn't say much, but his silence said enough. Eventually, Chantel had enough of the guessing. She wanted the truth, even if it hurt. Lawyers got involved. Tests were ordered. Jackie tried to delay, but the process was already in motion. And then, out of nowhere, Chris Webber showed up. Not as a spectator. As the man with answers. When he walked in, it wasn't dramatic. No shouting. No cameras. Just a quiet entrance that made everyone stop. Chris looked serious but calm. The envelope under his arm felt heavier than it looked, like it held decades of secrets, and it did. When the judge gave him permission to speak, the room went completely silent. This envelope contains the truth we've all avoided for over 20 years, Chris said, his voice steady and low. No theatrics. Just truth. Inside that envelope was a storm waiting to be unleashed. First came the DNA test results. Scientific, straightforward, undeniable. It showed Chris was 99.7% likely to be Chantel's biological father. That alone would have rocked the room, but there was more. There were hotel receipts. Dated and time-stamped. They showed Chris and Jackie checking into the same hotels multiple times during the exact period when Chantel would have been conceived. And these weren't just vague receipts. Both names were clearly printed. Then came the letters. Handwritten notes from Jackie to Chris. Deeply emotional, with phrases like, "You'll always be part of my heart," maybe even more. These weren't letters you send to a casual acquaintance. And finally, voicemails. One of them was from Jackie, her voice anxious and afraid. "I can't tell Doug. You know what this would do to my family." The courtroom froze. Jackie turned away, blinking rapidly, trying not to cry. Doug lowered his head. Chantel clutched her coat tighter, eyes wide, lips sealed. Then Chris unfolded one last letter. He looked at Jackie, then began to read. "Doug can't know. I'll just say it's his strong genes. Don't ruin me, Chris." You could hear a pin drop. Doug's body tensed. Then, just like that, he collapsed. Court officers rushed to help as Jackie stood frozen. Chantel was already crying. She grabbed her bag and rushed out of the courtroom, covering her face. Jackie tried to speak. "Your Honor, this isn't," but the judge cut her off. "You are out of order, Mrs. Christie. Sit down." There was no spinning it. This wasn't a reality show. This was real life falling apart in front of everyone. And just when it seemed like the worst had passed, the doors opened again. Chantel walked back in.
Disgusting. It's disgusting. It makes me sick.
She said a lot of things that actually hurt my feelings as a mom.
Her makeup was smeared, her eyes red. But her steps were confident. She walked straight to the judge, didn't look at her mother, didn't even glance at Chris. She pulled out a flash drive. "What's this?" the judge asked. "It's something I found last year, going through her storage," Chantel said quietly. "I didn't know what it was until today." The court took a short recess, then resumed with the flash drive being played. On it? Another voicemail. Jackie's voice, filled with panic and anger. "I swear to God, I will destroy you if you tell anyone. Don't ruin what I have, Chris. Please." The room sat in stunned silence again. Doug stood up. His voice cracked. "To cover a lie, you were going to accuse him of assault?" he asked, staring at Jackie. She didn't respond. She couldn't. For once, she had no defense. Chantel quietly wiped her tears. It wasn't just about DNA anymore, it was about trust. About years of deception. About control. Then Doug did something that shocked everyone. "I'm filing to have my name removed from Chantel's birth certificate," he said. Jackie gasped. "You can't. You raised her. She's your daughter." Doug didn't yell. He simply said, "I lived a lie." That hurt more than shouting ever could. Chantel, still sitting quietly, whispered through tears, "I just wanted the truth. That's all I ever wanted." What had started as a question about paternity had turned into a full-blown unraveling of a life carefully crafted by Jackie Christie. Years of pretending, of hiding, of manipulating, it all came undone in one courtroom. But it didn't end there. VH1 suspended Jackie indefinitely from Basketball Wives, citing legal and ethical concerns. Then Chris's legal team filed a civil lawsuit for emotional abuse, defamation, and retroactive child support. And then, the federal government stepped in. That voicemail from Jackie didn't just reveal manipulation, it triggered an investigation into her charity foundation. Fraud. Misused funds. Fake tax documents. Subpoenas were already being issued. One person tweeted, "Jackie always acted like she had it all together. Now it's all crashing down." Another said, "Doug and Chantel deserve peace. Jackie played with people's lives like it was a storyline." Chris didn't wave to the cameras when he left court. He just walked away quietly, hands in his pockets. Doug filed for complete separation, emotional, financial, and legal, from Jackie. Chantel was left questioning everything she thought she knew. And Jackie? She sat alone. No Doug. No daughter. No show. No sympathy. Chris came in with the truth. And what he left behind was the ashes of a life built on lies. And just like that, everything Jackie Christie worked so hard to protect came crashing down all in 1 week. What started with whispers and rumors turned into court documents, voicemails, letters, and a DNA test that exposed a truth too big to bury. Chris Webber didn't come to embarrass anyone, he came with the truth. And that truth tore through the courtroom like a storm, leaving silence, shock, and heartbreak behind. Doug, the man who stood by Jackie for decades, discovered that the life he built was based on a lie. The little girl he raised and loved as his own wasn't biologically his. And even worse, he had been kept in the dark on purpose. His quiet strength was replaced by visible pain, and when he stood up and asked to be removed from Chantel's birth certificate, it wasn't out of anger, it was out of deep betrayal. Chantel, caught in the middle of it all, had the most heartbreaking reaction of all. She didn't ask for drama. She wasn't chasing headlines. All she ever wanted was the truth. And when she finally got it, it came at a cost, losing trust in her mother, watching her family fall apart, and questioning everything she thought she knew about her life. As for Jackie, well, she sat in the ruins. No more cameras, no more glitz, no more control. VH1 suspended her from Basketball Wives, and legal troubles are just beginning. From federal investigations to Chris Webber's civil lawsuit, Jackie now faces consequences not just from the court of public opinion but from the justice system itself. So what's the lesson in all of this? Sometimes, trying to control a narrative only makes the truth louder when it finally comes out. Secrets have a way of surfacing, especially when people stop protecting them out of fear and start chasing them for peace. Jackie didn't just lie, she built an entire world around that lie. And now, it's all gone. Chris Webber left quietly, without a single word to the cameras. Doug walked away, choosing peace over pretense. And Chantel, still wiping away tears, left with more questions than answers, but at least now, she finally knows the truth. This isn't just gossip. This is about the real damage caused by hidden truths and emotional manipulation. What do you think? Was Jackie protecting her family, or was she protecting herself? Should Doug have cut ties the way he did? And what does Chantel's future look like now? Let us know in the comments below. Drop your thoughts, your reactions, and your take on everything that went down. If you found this story as jaw-dropping as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life drama breakdowns and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. And Chantel, still wiping away tears, left with more questions than answers, but at least now, she finally knows the truth. This isn't just gossip. This is about the real damage caused by hidden truths and emotional manipulation. What do you think? Was Jackie protecting her family, or was she protecting herself? Should Doug have cut ties the way he did? And what does Chantel's future look like now? If you found this story as jaw-dropping as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life drama breakdowns and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.